Good morning. Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, XRP, and some liquidity along with the Sigma coin. So, all right, we've been chopping all through the 8-day moving average for Bitcoin here, the last day or so, and we're just kind of floating out in space. Now, do note that we do have some inefficiency right here in the chart, which is probably ultimately what we're going to roll over and go towards. The biggest thing about these levels is that if we start closing down here, we have maybe one more chance to kind of, if we roll over and then come back up again, we maybe only have one chance left to kind of try to work it to the upside before we have some kind of larger breakdown that takes us to the sweeping of the lows again, right? So that's what we're gonna have to watch for. Good news is our 8-day is starting to flatten out, which is nice, and starting to curve up a smidge. 21 is still kind of curving, and we need to get back up to that 50. Our area that we need to clear is this, 90,317. If we can get Bitcoin above that level, we'll be in great shape, and we can now let go of some of these lower time frame pullbacks. So now XRP, of course, tethered to the overall crypto market, is in the same boat. It was right on top of the 8, broke down, and now is grinding to try to keep things going to the upside. But when we check in our larger time frames, the 4-hour we knew was weakening, right? So here's our first roll through the 50-yard line. These two are getting ready to cross with a red dot, and we are losing momentum here. Now, that's not to say that we can't swing back up again as these curve over, because you will have low liquidity squeezes that manifest. So for example, like right here, this will show up back again, right? So it can roll over, come down, and then squeeze again and move to the upside. So we're just still watching this, but as of right now, we are green on the 4-hour, which is, not as consistent as larger time frames, but definitely something to keep in mind. And our daily has actually printed green. So we still have to close today, but we now have actually a triple confirmation of green here for XRP at this point in time. We'll have to wait till, another 8 hours pass or so, and then this will close the candle, and that will be a confirmation of a green close. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean instant price action to the upside. So here's an example of a triple confirmation right here. You ended up getting a rollover and then the squeeze that came into play later. And then when this started fading right here on this purple indicator, you had a little bit of time before the whole thing rolled over on itself. So you got days here. So these are not like you have to do instantaneous things. So look for entries and exits dependent upon that. This one was a little tough, right? Because you never really got it there. So if you are going to go in to an entry with a green, we just lost the green. There you go. See? So we're populating back and forth on these indicators. So we'll have to see how they close. So now moving to the 3-day, it's been what it's been. We have not technically been wanting to own XRP through the last since December 15th. Is what it's been telling us. So ever since we started sweeping into these lows, losing the 618 fib level, that right there has been the big tell. So when you go in to put these entries, for example, this one, you get your 5-way move off the low. Let's go to the shorter time frames here so you can see it. We know that it's green, right? And so you would get your 5-way move off the low here, a back test to the 618, yay, that's where you would enter. Put your stop loss there. And then you would have it move back up again, and then it would stop you out, and you would just watch as price action sweeps down and goes into the lows here. So that's ultimately what we're going to be watching to see if this guy can actually reclaim everything. But there is these inefficiency gaps. So lower is most likely the answer, especially since the 3 days been telling us that now for almost 4 days or so. So we'll just continue to monitor that and see how it plays. But as of right now, it's still an iffy zone for where we may be going here. Jumping over to the liquidity on XRP, though, here's your weekly chart, and you can see there's a ton of high liquidity up here to 202, which makes me think that might be the area that we need to be focused on. So 202 is there, but you can still see there's plenty down here. So if the market sentiment just isn't there, then this gets swept first. But if there's a squeeze or a pop, and they want to chase larger liquidity, that would be the way. On the 24-hour, we have the same type of liquidity right there up at 195, 196. So I think a squeeze up to these levels is likely, and that may just give us what we've been looking for, which is a move across. Oh, there we go, a move back above this high right here, and may in fact validate everything as being okay. So we'll see. But yeah, we 198.62, and the liquidity is telling us we got 195 on the shorter time frames, but on the weekly we got all the way up to that 205 level. So, and then in through the thick of all this, you've got, yeah, there's your 192 or 202. Well, there you go. Sorry. And then finally, through the thick of all this, you've got Sigma just kind of working for the same exact move off the lows like XRP is doing. And the question is, how much of this gap will we come back down and refill for this inefficiency? And when will we start moving to the upside? So we're just waiting and watching. And ultimately, it's XRP's decision on to when this is going to manifest. And so we're just waiting at this point. So, all right. Thanks so much for checking in this morning. And we will check in tomorrow.